having those relationships is kind of like that foundation that allows us to grow and to maintain, like you said, even though it's not necessarily this Nashville type market, it's still a good market.
It is. I would say, just in the business that I'm in, being more, single client facing, whereas the project scope and the cost of services, obviously there's nowhere near what a construction project would be, but that helps me in my business because word of mouth in an area like this is just as big as any type of advertisement. So I would assume, that truly helps, having staples in the community that have utilized the business to do projects for them across the spectrum. But I think that's where the world's changing a little bit, to attract young talent, to attract different kinds of people as your clients do.
The Mark Bigg Show.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Mark Bigg Show. Super excited for our guest today. Diving into the construction industry today. We've talked a little bit about real estate in previous episodes, but haven't really dove super deep into construction. So I'm excited for our guest today, Andrew Stewart with Sunbelt Construction here located in Bowling Green, Kentucky. Andrew, thank you for being here.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So give us a little bit of background on yourself first and foremost, so that the people that watch this or listen to this that don't know who you are, give them the 10,000-foot view of you, where you grew up, kind of what you've been about, kind of your career path to this point, and how you ended up with Sunbelt.
Yeah, so I am a Bowling Green native, so born and raised here.
What high school?
Went to Greenwood High School.
Okay, can't hate on you too bad. That's all right.
Yeah. Class of 11, right before, I was the last class before South opened.
Got it.
So we were packed in there like sardines.
They had like trailers and stuff.
They
at
did.
That point.
They had
That's
trailers for us. Yep. Class of 11 there, and then went to University of Kentucky for a couple of years.
Sweet.
Ended up coming back a little early from then, and then that's when I started with Sunbelt Construction.
So how long you been with them now?
So that was end of 2013, 2014, so almost 12 years.
Sweet. So how did it come about to where you came back to BG, and how did you get introduced to Sunbelt? Kind of give me a rundown of what that looks like.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. So our president owner is Quentin Litchell. He is my uncle. So I went off to UK for a couple of years, found out that college wasn't for me.
I get that wholeheartedly. I went to school online at the University of Phoenix, so there's no judgment on school from me.
You kind of leave, at least back then when you left high school, there was definitely that pressure of
for sure.
Where are you going to college?
Yep.
And so I was like, okay, well, I guess I got to go somewhere.
Of course.
Want to get out of town a little bit, not too far. Loved Kentucky sports, so I was like, I'll just go to Kentucky. So ended up there, came back, didn't really know what I was going to do. I was at Kentucky for finance, but it's like we were talking about a minute ago. That was just because
you didn't know what else.
I didn't know what else to do.
That's
like,
fair.
I was good with numbers. I liked math, basic math, and so then I got back, talked to Quentin. I was like, hey, I don't really know what I'm going to do.
Sure.
Let me just jump on with you guys for a few months so I can get a paycheck.
Sure. Figure some things out.
Go from there, and that was 12 years ago.
Sweet. So when you initially started with the company, what was your role at that point, and like how's that progressed over time?
I was a laborer.
Gotcha.
I was pushing a broom, pressure washing, cleaning job sites, really just learning as much as I could. I was greenhorn.
Sure. So give me an idea too, for the people that don't know. A lot of people that will watch this or listen to this have heard of Sunbelt, know Quentin, or both. Give me kind of a rundown of what Sunbelt's about, kind of the projects they do, kind of what's their niche, so to speak.
So we're celebrating 40 years.
Sweet.
This coming 2026. So we're a general contractor here in Bowling Green, which basically means, for those people who don't know, we manage commercial construction projects.
Okay.
We can take it from many different avenues, from very inception to plan spec, which is like where you've already got drawings from an architect, and we just bid it out competitively.
Gotcha. So I've had previous experience with Sunbelt personally. So the office that I'm in now,
right.
I know Steve has used Sunbelt for a lot of different projects throughout his career. So when I was looking and thinking about starting my own business, Steve was a mentor of mine. As everybody knows, it's well documented that he was one of the influences for me to start my own thing. So he kind of walked me into Quentin and Sunbelt, and I dealt with a project manager on our build out that was great. And so it seems like, from what I can gather about Sunbelt as a company wide, it doesn't matter if it's a small renovation of a space that's already existing like mine, or a brand new construction building coming out of the ground. Am I understanding that correctly? Like where do they? Is there industrial or office or warehouse type of thing that Sunbelt like specializes in, so to speak?
Yeah. So I mean, originally we were founded really as a restaurant contractor.
Got it.
So a founder, Bob Toomey, was he built Rafferty's here in town.
Got it.
And so
Kind of how he built his name,
that's kind of how he
reputation.
started.
Kind of thing.
He was like, he did that, and then he was like, okay, I think I like this. Built it up from there. Quentin took over for him about 22 years ago or so. But yeah, we don't discriminate.
Sure. I know you do anything. We like a general contractor.
We like to do it all.
Sure.
From small office build outs to multi-story. I mean, right now we're doing 4-story annex for SkyPack.
Oh, sweet.
Downtown, multi-million-dollar project. So yeah, we like to think we're big enough and capable enough to do those type of projects, but also do the tenant build outs.
Smaller types of things too.
Because we've got plenty of experience in both.
So what do you think has, from 40 years is a long time for anything.
It is. Yeah.
But especially a small business that started as a small business, obviously. What do you think has been, I don't want to say the key to success, but what do you think are some things that Sunbelt does that's allowed them to stay around for 40 years?
Yeah, I mean, you don't get to 40 years by accident for sure.
No, absolutely not. And there's statistics everywhere that say within the first 5 years, this many percent of businesses fail. 10 years is an even higher number.
Right.
So to last to 40 shows that there's something that's being done correctly for it to stick around.
And the compound, construction is also like one of the more volatile.
Exactly. You got more turnover with employees and so on and so forth.
So yeah, what we do different is really built from the ground up with our culture.
Sure. Dive into that. What does that mean?
What sets us apart from others is the way we approach our projects and our customers. Mm-hmm. So you mentioned Steve a minute ago.
Yep.
Steve, we've been working with him for I'm not even gonna say a year because it's been a long time, but several years. And it's relationships like that we really focus on and try to maintain.
Sure.
Because it's those kinds of people that are in this community that we want to be a part of their projects.
His voice carries weight.
Yeah, right. And so we're intimately involved with those projects. We're not like our only office is in Bowling Green.
Sure.
We're not a general contractor that's got an Eastern division, a Western,
Sure.
Atlanta, Nashville. Like we're in Bowling Green.
So what would you say as far as like number of projects, like, and it doesn't have to be a specific number, but like, is most of your work focused in the South Central Kentucky area?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we can travel. We're licensed in multiple states. I mean, we do some work in Indiana, Tennessee. We're licensed in a few others, but we love Bowling Green. We love Warren County. We love the surrounding counties. That's where we live. That's where we do. That's where we raise our families.
What would you say, speaking of that though, is, and the question that just popped into my head, with it being, Bowling Green is a thriving community, thriving area. We've had, County Judge Executive Doug Gorman on here before talking about all the expansion and stuff that's happening. It's a happening place, but we're not a Nashville, a New York City, a Dallas. So how do you stay competitive and churning projects over in an area that's not one of these big booming metro areas, I guess is something that comes to my mind.
So a lot of it goes back to the Steve Sheldons.
Sure.
Developing and maintaining those relationships with those people to where you get to a point where you have the comfort level of you just kind of get a phone call from Steve. It's
sure.
like, hey,
here's what I'm thinking about.
I got this. Can you help me out?
Sure.
And we've got, it's not just Steve, but multiples like that. I think once you have a base like that and you're able to maintain it and foster it and go from there, you don't really have to seek out those as much.
Sure.
That definitely helps you. I mean, I'm not saying we're,
that's solely dependent on any person.
Sure.
I get that.
Right. But having those relationships is kind of like that foundation that allows us to grow and to maintain, like you said, even though it's not necessarily this Nashville type market, it's still a good market.
It is.
But
I would say, just in the business that I'm in, being more, single client facing, whereas the project scope and the cost of services, obviously there's nowhere near what a construction project would be, but that helps me in my business because word of mouth in an area like this is just as big as any type of advertisement.
Absolutely.
So I would assume, that truly helps having staples in the community that have utilized the business to do projects for them across the spectrum, helps generate referrals and stuff like that. So what is, I guess, with this type of business always evolving with construction, new projects here and there, like what is Sunbelt looking at going into 40 years in business? What are they excited about? What do they feel like is next, as a company, stuff like that? What are you guys looking towards?
Yeah, so I mean, Bowling Green, Warren County is growing. It has been for a while. It's growing fast. I think it's the fastest or second fastest in the state.
Yep.
And honestly, we're right there with it. So we're growing with the county. Obviously, as the county grows, there's more work to do. So
Sure.
therefore, it keeps us busy. We brought in a lot of young talent, which is hard to do.
It is in any industry, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, across the board.
Yep.
And so we feel good about that. We struggled with that for a little while, just because construction is it kind of has that stigma of a little bit of an old
100%.
industry.
100%.
And
Mine does too. I've told people countless
Yeah.
times I'm in an old white-haired man's industry.
Yeah.
And so me being a guy that wears T-shirts half the time at the office, I have a gold chain, I
Sure.
wear sneakers half the
Right.
time. Like, I'm not a financial advisor when you look in the dictionary and see the guy in the suit with his coffee in the Wall Street Journal. You know what I mean? But I think that's where the world's changing a little bit, to attract young talent, to attract different kinds of people as your clients do. So as you guys are going through that, what do you think is not necessarily an offer, but like a draw to a person that you guys feel is young talent to go with Sunbelt versus XYZ?
Family. I mean, we're a people-driven business, with our customers, with our employees. It's who we are at the core. We know, whether you like it or not, everybody knows everybody's kids' names. Goes to their sports activities. We just spent this past weekend. We were in Chattanooga, Tennessee, as a company. Just
What are you guys doing down there?
just team
Shooting the
building.
breeze?
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean, just getting everybody together, spending time together outside of work.
Sure.
So it's that. It's that culture of we care about you.
Sure.
You're not a number. You're a
I would
person.
say that's a lot more. I mean, it's important in any business, but with construction being such a high turnover thing, I can only imagine that it's got to be
it's
even
high
that much more
turnover.
important.
It's high stress. I mean, it is. And so you've got those, your families that you employ deal with your spouse, the employees of Sunbelt. They come home, sometimes it's tough.
Of course.
Stressful. So they go through it just like we do. And so keeping all those people on the same team and, it just makes it all kind of work together.
100%. So as things go on and you're, hiring young talent and all that stuff, how do you, and this may not be your like role in the business, so but you'll have an idea. So like, how do you continue to bid jobs properly, making sure that profitability is what it is with construction costs changing all the time, material costs changing. Everybody talks about supply chain issues with construction. I've dealt with it personally as an investor, but on a much smaller scale because I'm doing a lot smaller projects. But how do you, as a business owner and business development type of person, navigate those kinds of things in this landscape?
It's difficult. I mean, we always kind of joke that, we bid some jobs and sometimes it ebbs and flows. So sometimes we'll have, 4 or 5 jobs we've submitted bids on, we're kind of waiting to hear back on.
Sure.
We're like, oh crap, if all 5 of these hit, like, what are we going to do?
Yeah. It's good, but it's
good,
like, oh,
yeah.
crap.
And then sometimes we're like, it's been 30 days since we bid on something. Like, what are we going to do?
Right.
Same question. So it's tricky. And luckily we've been blessed to, it always eventually kind of works its way out because it's not by chance. It's because of the things that we've done before, but
Sure.
It works itself out. Somebody calls, Steve Sheldon calls and says, hey, I need you to go do this.
Sure.
or whatever. As far as the supply chain issues go, it's gotten a lot better.
Most of those subsided at this point, I would
COVID
assume.
was miserable.
Of course.
But
it was miserable on everybody for
for
different
everybody.
reasons. Right.
But now there's issues, but it's not like it was.
Gotcha.
So
when it comes, and that's the hard thing because a lot of times, if you've got an experienced real estate person that does these types of projects often, the trust that they have in a company is worth probably more than saving a few bucks if another company bid it cheaper. So there's got to be some kind of balance there of like, you can't just always like be the race to the bottom because that's not the type of business that you want to be in. It's not the type of mantra you want to have. But at the same time, cost is important. So I would say it's a huge challenge to make sure that your profitability is right because you got a lot of payroll, you got staff, you got all these costs to manage. Excuse me. And the whole point of business is to make money.
yeah,
Everybody's got to get paid, but at the same time, you got to get these jobs. So like, is there like some sort of like formula or secret for success that like these kinds of people use to continue to push the ball down the field? Or like, how does that work? Knowing that you can't always just be the cheapest. So you can't just look at the other guy's bid and say, well, I'll undercut it by $50,000 and we win the project. So how do you navigate, like, you got to make sure you're profitable. I can't do this job just to get my guys paid because the company still has to make money. So how do you know if you're even competitive with what other people are bidding or not? Is there like a general idea of what most people mark stuff up at on a construction side? And you don't have to give me percentages or anything, but like, is there a industry standard that people go by and then you just kind of get in the weeds with each trade, or like, how does that work?
There probably is. We have one internally, for like a certain, $1 million and below is this, so on and so forth. Okay. We do have that.
I've always wondered what that looks like because I've always been like, if anybody, like if I get a bid and I want you to do the job, there's always that, well, if you beat this number, we're good. You know what I mean? Does that happen often?
No.
Okay.
I mean,
that's just a selfish question. I didn't know.
We wish, I shouldn't say we wish it does, but no, our industry is cutthroat. So,
it is.
I mean, normally we will, I do all of our estimating.
Got it.
So I'll submit a bid and we will act like it's cut it as tight as it can.
Got it.
Because 80% of our work is competitive bid. So
I'll
we're always
it.
up against somebody else, which is the way it should be.
Of course.
But no, we always approach it as we've got to have this job. How lean can we get?
Got it. And that makes sense because, once again, if you're the guy that just comes in and smacks some huge percentage on top of it, I feel like that'd be a lot harder for you guys to get calls.
Right.
So as things continue to develop on a company-wide standpoint, what are you guys looking for in the future? Like, how do you, I'm not necessarily saying expand, but what's next on the horizon? Like, how do you keep your name relevant? How do you, what are you looking at as the company enters into 40 years? What's important to you guys at this point?
Maintaining the culture that we've grown, because you can build culture, but maintaining it is the hard part.
It's a real challenge.
So taking that seriously and not just going, well, we've been around for 40 years. Like, we'll just keep doing our thing. Like, we always have to constantly, go ahead.
I was going to say, I will tell you, because in my industry, that's what so many people rely on. I've been an accountant or I've been an advisor for 30 years, so you should just listen to what I say. Don't ask any questions. Just give me your business and go on. And we crack through that day after day, brick by brick, client by client, because it's like, they're not doing any real planning for you. They're not doing any real work for you. They're literally hanging their hat on that they've been around for X amount of years. Right. So that's why I was curious, because having that experience and being successful for that long is a staple. Like, it shows that you've done a lot of things right, but you can't just rely on that. Right. So how does a construction company to your magnitude do that?
So Quentin has I don't remember who he got it from, but he always pounds it into our heads that if you're green, if you're green, you'll grow. If you're ripe, you'll rot. So like, we always have to continue to kind of be on that like edge, that green edge of what's next?
Sure. How can you continue to learn, develop?
If we're ripe, we're gonna wilt away.
That's literally how it works. Yeah.
And so part of that is like, now I mentioned a minute ago, we're young. Yeah. So that's great. The mean of field guys in our industry is probably, median age is, I don't know, mid-50s, if not higher.
What's in your company?
Guessing, I'd say high 30s.
Nice.
So we're set up for
long-term success.
And,
is there ever the butting of heads of like, Quentin's an older gentleman, he's not old, but you know what I mean? Like, he's not 30. So like, is that ever a challenge with the younger culture trying to influence things in certain ways versus I'm not saying he's got an old way of thinking, but he's just an older guy. He's got the experience. Yeah. So how does that work?
It works well with the way he approaches it.
Got it.
Most of the reason why we're here is because of how he's handled the business structure and how he pours into us constantly. Yeah. Now we may not always feel that way.
Of course.
It's tough love.
I guarantee it.
But that's the reason why we've been successful, is because guys like him and guys before him and some of our field guys that are not with us anymore aren't afraid to pour into the guys that are young, so that Sunbelt can move on past them. Sure. Because it's bigger than any one person.
That's it. And I think when you can get people to buy in, especially from a leadership down standpoint, that's how you truly create something to what you just said that is bigger than just any one person. A lot of people that achieve the levels of success that your company's at have a level of determination and grittiness that it takes to get there. But it's hard for them in some rights. I'm not saying Quentin's this way, but just in general speaking, it's hard for them to pass that down in the appropriate way so that they can hand the reins off when it's their time. So I think that speaks to the man he is and the character that he has and the leadership qualities that he has too.
No doubt.
Let's shift gears a little bit to what's important to Sunbelt as far as like the Bowling Green, Warren County community specifically. Is there anything project-wise that you're kind of looking at as a staple that they're looking forward to, like over the next year and a half, something that's currently going on, anything like that?
Yeah. So I mentioned it earlier, SkyPack. We're working through that right now. We just finished up. I'm not sure when this podcast is going to go out, but we just finished up this week. We did a topping out ceremony, which kind of symbolizes the completion of the structural steel.
Sweet. So
that's with Judge Gorman and with the county. So we'll complete that next year. And then we've also got the Warren County Sheriff's Office, which is going over at Sugar Maple Square. So they're moving our whole operation. The county was either bought that, I can't remember how exactly it happened, moving to Sugar Maple. So we're almost done renovating phase 1, which will be done in the next month or so.
How long have you guys been working on that one?
Since the summer.
Sweet.
So pretty quick. And it's like almost 30,000 square feet.
Yeah.
And they're fired up about that.
I guarantee
the sheriff's been working.
They'll be able to spread out a little bit over there.
They've got an awesome training facility. They've got a virtual training.
Oh, cool.
So they'll have all that. So it's projects like that with the county, with the city. We just love to be intimately involved with
That's
those.
Awesome. It's got to feel good to be able to be a part of the team. Like you can drive by that when it's done and be like, we helped make that happen.
Yeah,
I mean, see the impact that it has on the community. Think of the events and the concerts and all the things that happen at SkyPack, and then how having that type of high level facility for our sheriff's department, how much that enhances Warren County from a safety standpoint and the citizens and all that stuff. So it's got to be cool to be a part of those things.
It is. I mean, my wife probably laughs at me and is annoyed. Maybe we'll drive down and be like, we'll tell a story about that project or that. And it's like I said earlier. I mean, we have this solo office here. We live here. We patronize those buildings, those restaurants that we build. Like,
I think that's a cool thing to be able to take pride in the work you do, and that's what some of the common themes that I've had with people that have been on this podcast, whether they're self-employed or they're in a corporate job or whatever the case may be. When you can connect yourself to some type of purpose that's bigger than just collecting a paycheck and going home, that's when your true colors come out. That's when you can really shine as an employee or as a business owner, as a self-employed person or whatever, because you're attaching yourself to something that's bigger than you.
Right.
And I think that's so cool to be able to take pride in projects that you see the long-term ramifications in our community of. So that's really neat.
No doubt.
Covered a lot of stuff about, the company as a whole, the culture a little bit. From a selfish standpoint for you, where do you see Sunbelt going over the next little bit as part of what's in your head as what biz development could look like for the company?
Yeah.
What are you excited about?
Yeah. I'm super excited for the next 5, 10, 20 years. I mean, we've got plans for continual growth over those years.
Sounds like you have the staff in place to do so.
Yeah. And we're continuing to pour into those people so that we can bring more in. So, our plan is not to slow down.
Sure.
Is to continue to grow with the county so that we can serve the county, and in surrounding areas. I mean, like I said, we're licensed in multiple states, but we love working at Bowling Green. We love the people, the community.
It's a common thing for people that work and have lived and built their careers and businesses here.
It's the BG bubble.
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple BG bubbles: the weather one, the
community one,
the economy one, the community one. But and all of them are good mostly. So yeah, it's just setting ourselves up to be able to continue to serve the community.
Sweet. Is there anything that you feel like is top of brain that we haven't been able to kind of unwrap a little bit about your role in the business and the business as a whole and just kind of the direction of where it's going? Final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, final thoughts. I would just say that we're continuing to put processes in place and kind of push boundaries. I mentioned earlier that construction is kind of an old industry.
Yep.
We're trying to push through that because there are some cool technologies in the industry now. So we're trying to be a part of that and kind of grow with that instead of just kind of sitting still and being like, well,
that'll help you stay relevant.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's a lot of it.
Cool. Well, some of the big themes, big takeaways that I take from this is that, being able to connect yourself with a purpose that's bigger than yourself is what drives not only business success, but success with whatever your role is inside of any business or company or business that you may own or whatever. And then you mentioned it earlier. It's about the community that we're in, the people that we serve, and the people that we work with. I mean, when you can get those things right, regardless of what industry you're in, those are common themes that have carried across every conversation that I've had, regardless of industry, real estate, finance, construction, all the various things, restaurants, hospitalities, fitness industries, all those things. It doesn't matter. It's all about the people and the community that you serve and represent. So
we're nothing without our relationships.
100%. Well, guys, thank you for tuning in. Hope you learned something from this. If you don't mind, if you would like, share, and subscribe wherever you listen to this at, Spotify, Apple Music. We really appreciate that. It does a lot for us, and can't thank you enough for taking the time out to join our conversation today. And we'll see you next time.